Hello everyone and welcome to my hobby home. My name is Cathy. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everybody is well. As you can tell, my voice has decided to go away. And I just noticed I have my pressed flowers here and I have it turned the wrong direction. I am going to be stitching my binding on the back and thought we could just chit-chat while I did that. So I just need to flip it over here. I wasn't thinking. I was cleaning my machine, putting a new needle on it. You know, just doing all the things you have to do before you start sewing. You may not really be able to see the top very well, but you wouldn't be able to see the table anyway. It's just my quilt is all strewn out. So first thing I'm going to do is unroll quite a decent amount of my binding off. And y'all might have seen me do this in the Make It Mini that I did. And you will notice I have my machine all the way to the right, which means I have to move my foot pedal over also. Okay, I'm just going to get this down and get a stitch in there to hold it in place. So how are y'all doing? It is Thursday evening. I did work today. It was difficult. I'm not going to fib about that. It was very difficult, but I made it. And so now I am in my weekend. I am binding my pressed flowers right now. This was the Quilt Along last year in the Sew Sampler box. This year we have the Peaceful Baskets. This one here, of course, we're on basket number 6, I think. I can't remember, 6 or 7, something like that. I think we're like that many in. So yeah, it's taken me that long to start binding this. It took me a while to finish it because I did not have the finishing kit, because by the time I started it, the finishing kit was gone. So what I did, I just found a fabric that I thought would back real well with it. And I had bought a lot of Bunny Hill Designs fabrics. The Sugarberry, I bought like jelly rolls, layer cakes, Jolly Bars, just because I loved that line. And I wanted my quilt to be in that line. Well, when it got down to being finished, it was near impossible finding fabric in that line. So but I did, like I said, I had yardage of this that I got for the binding. And I used some, I don't know if it was Bella Solid for some of the finishing, the sashings, the brown, I think is what it is, the tan, the solid color. And I know this is a Bunny Hill design, from a Bunny Hill Design line also. It might have been from, what's it, My House or something like that. Summer House, or I can't remember the name of the line. But the good thing, you know, like a lot of the fabric designers, their lines are so close together that you can mix and match their lines. And you really can't tell that it's different. Okay, I see I'm going to have to, I did not put a bag in my garbage can, and I need to get a bag in. My garbage ran Tuesday and pulled my garbage bag out Sunday, and I hadn't had a garbage bag in it all week. But mostly what I've had is threads and stuff, and that goes in my small bin. Now, I am using a red thread for my top and my bobbin. Now, I'm just come to the first corner, and I am folding that binding there so I can get a mitered edge. I may or may not get one. I'm not really good at them edges. I try to be, but sometimes I just don't get it. Get that needle in there so I can straighten everything out. So what does everybody have going on this weekend? We have a lot of activities for children this weekend. We're probably doing Boo at the Zoo. I know there's a hot air balloon festival. There's no hockey game this weekend. It's out of town. So we don't have a game this weekend. My sister and I, we were going over all the activities going on this weekend and upcoming for the holidays. Because we like to go do stuff, you know, little short weekend trips. And so we were looking, you know, what's coming up at Christmas. And we know we will be doing, possibly, I'm hoping, that we're able to get this planned. We are probably going to be going down to Natchitoches to the Christmas lights. And if she and I don't go, we probably, I don't know, we may not do a weekend of that. I may just take my grandbabies to see that. So that just may be a my kid kind of thing and not a me and my sister kind of thing. Which I think would be fun because the lights, I hear they're beautiful. I've never been to see them. And now that I have grandbabies, I want to do all the things. And my kids are like, you never did that with us. I'm like, I was broke. I was raising kids. So now, I mean, there's something I can do with my grandbabies. So now I see why my aunt and uncle was the ones always carrying us places. Because our mama and daddy was broke. They were raising 4 kids. Y'all, I am putting this quilting glove on because I'm having trouble moving this quilt the way I want it to move. Now I'm thinking it's getting about time I have another giveaway. Because I still have so much stuff here that I would love to share with somebody. And I do. I have not put this out in my community page yet. But I am taking addresses from my viewers for Christmas cards. I will be ordering my cards pretty soon, and I would like to be able to send a Christmas card to my viewers if you would like to. Now, I have an email address. Please do not put your mailing address in the comments. You can either message it to me on Facebook Messenger if you're in the group. If you're not in the group, I do have my email address in the description. It's down at the bottom of the description. You can email me your mailing address. There are a few people that I have addresses for, people that have won giveaways. I have those addresses. But I would love to send Christmas cards out to my viewers and subscribers. And feel free, you can mail me a postcard too. I love getting Christmas cards. And I will tell you, I do not have any type of mailing list or nothing like that. I don't have a newsletter that you'll be getting. I have none of that. None of that. The only thing you will ever get from me is a card or maybe a goodie in the mail. That's the only thing you will ever get from me. I do not have like a mailing list that can be sold or anything like that. Because I don't have a newsletter. I don't have anything like that. And I know a lot of people that you get on their newsletter and then you start receiving an email every single day. And I don't like that. So I would never do that to you guys. I love you guys too much to do that to you. Now, I'm not saying some places I don't mind getting a newsletter, you know, or an email every day. I like knowing about sales. That's what I want to know about. And y'all, I think I have found a fabulous creation. I haven't done this in a while on my channel, but I can. Produce that I get out of my garden or that I get at the farmer's market. And, you know, I live in a double-wide mobile home. Don't have a lot of room. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, a separate laundry room. All the bedrooms have, like, well, one of the bedrooms, 2 of the bedrooms don't have walk-in closets, but they're long. They're long closets. So, you know, space is always an issue. Well, in any house, it's an issue. You don't have to live in a mobile home to have space issues. But I can, so storing my canned foods. Now, I do have a pantry. But there is absolutely no way I can put my canned goods in my pantry. Not with all the other things I keep in my pantry, you know, for daily use. But I found these things, they're not new, so they're new to me. They're called safe crates. When you can food, you know you're supposed to take the bands off or the rings off of the lids. And you're not supposed to stack them when you store them. And that's because if you lose a seal, you'll know it. The lid will pop off. And I was going through my can and stuff the other day because I am going through my house. I'm doing a clean out. It's time to check my cans, my things that I've canned. And I had lost 2 jars, I think, of jalapenos that my husband hadn't ate. And he's really bad about wanting me to can stuff, but then he don't eat it after I can it. And I don't eat jalapenos. I can't eat them. And so I had to pour 2 jars out. Well, I mean, long story short, I'm going the long way. What I'm trying to do is get all of that stuff. But these safe crates, they have a lid on them. Where you can, and they're different sizes. There's one for quarts, one for pints, and one for jelly jars. Well, I got 1 quart because I have some soups in quart jars. And I've got like 3 pints, and they're awful. I've already filled every one of them up. And you can actually put your jars in these things, put the lid on them, and stack them so you can go up. Y'all, it is fabulous. I'm probably going to get some more because that way I can put them in a closet and go up with them. Or I can store them under a bed. Or, you know, I'm probably going to do it in a closet. That's just easier to get to. These things are fabulous. I love them. I don't know how I didn't know about these things. But that's what I've kind of been doing today is after I got home, October is the time for us to trim our rose bushes back halfway. And I got out there because my rose bushes aren't doing anything right now. We're not getting any rain and I'm not watering them. Because they're just looking really puny and I wish they were up. I wish they were out of the ground. Because I've thought about it and I think I would like to get a row of hydrangeas across the front of my house, and I have 2 rose bushes close to the front of my house, because the front of my house is on the south side of the house, and the back of my house, well, it's not really direct south, and the back of my house is, you know, not directly north, but on the north side. So I have the north winds and all that, and my hydrangeas did not do very well. So I would love to get some in my front yard and put across the front of my house. I know I could probably take a clipping from somewhere and do it. I could probably move the ones I have in the back. But for most of the day, my backyard is in shade once the sun gets behind the trees. We don't have as many trees as we used to, though, because we've had so many tornadoes and straight line winds that have taken them out, blew them down, and so now our backyard is not as shaded as it once was. But I have hostas around my back porch because the water's right there and it's easy to water them. And I have a hydrangea right there. And it just didn't do so good this year. So before spring comes, I'm having to contemplate what I'm doing, and I'm already doing research on transplanting, when I can do transplanting for certain types of plants, berry bushes, things like that. I have a blackberry bush that's doing really well, and I want to transplant it it's in a pot. It's been in a pot. This is the second year, because the first year we got it close to the end of the season. We got the plant at a discounted rate. So I like buying things on sale like that, but you may not get fruit that first year. We got quite a few berries this year, but none of them really made it in the house, because when I work in my garden, I may eat them. Cherry tomatoes, strawberries, and blackberries are not safe in my garden because I'm going to eat them right there in the garden. And y'all probably see what I'm talking about now, where you wouldn't be able to see my table anyway. Oh, I hope I got enough binding, because if I don't, I'm going to have to be piecing it together. But I actually think, I don't know, I may be getting close to my third side. Or I may be starting my third side, or I don't know. I'm close to it. If this isn't the third side, I'm close to it. I think this is the third side. And I'm just hitting y'all all up here on the mic, flipping this around. I know it wouldn't matter what kind of space I had. I'd still do this. It'd still be too small, because it's a big old quilt that has to fit in a little bitty space. Got a kitty cat in here wanting pettings. What you want, Noggy? What you want, girl? You want pettings? She's over here flopping around under my ironing table. I think she's waking up from a nap. Oh, I'm so scared I'm not going to have enough. That's always a stressor for me when I'm getting down here close to the bottom of it. And I'm seeing I got a whole side to do and then half of another side to do. I'm scared. But I think I cut it exactly how they said to cut it. My binding, and so I'm hoping I have enough. I followed their instructions, and I did not add a border or anything to it, so it should be the exact size that's needed. But if it's not, I'm sure I have some more yardage, hopefully. Hopefully I haven't used it on my string quilt. I need to do some more on that string quilt. So if I just have a random day of doing stuff, I may work on that a little bit. I have a lot of things I'm working on right now. So my string quilt is kind of a, you know, work on it when you don't have something going on kind of thing. And I still have, well, I'm binding this one. And I still have my Jelly Roll Irish chain that I'm working on. I'm almost finished with it though. It'll be ready to be backed and bound. And I'm working on the Christmas gnome. Y'all will see that one on Sunday. You'll see the Jelly Roll Irish chain Saturday, and you'll see the Christmas gnome on Sunday. And I have been getting a lot of questions about the Nantucket bag that I'm working on, because I'm doing multiple of them. So I have one that I did previously, but I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and do another one from beginning to end. And hopefully I'll have my new setup so you can see exactly what I'm doing. My husband and I, when he comes back in, we're going to talk about it to see, because I do have a setup where I can use my tablet. I'm thinking I may do that, going and just use my tablet because of the editing software. Because my tablet and my phone share, they're both Androids. So the YouTube software that I use is for Androids only right now, unless recently they came out with it for iPhones. But all my editing is done on my phone, which is quite great, because I can edit if I go somewhere. I just throw my earbuds in and edit. It's quite fabulous to be able to do, actually. But I have the software on both pieces of my equipment, so I'm thinking it's all one account. I haven't tried it yet. I'm going to have to try it. It's all one account, and I may be able to add in. I may be able to add, you know, snippets of the video in. I don't know if I'm able to overlay or what. I don't know how I would be able to do it. But that's something I do need to play around with, because a lot of people have asked to be able to see what I'm doing and to be able to look from behind me. Well, I will tell you, at one point I was recording with the camera over here on my sewing machine. I kept hitting it. I kept rolling over it. And I have done it from behind me to my right. Same thing was happening. I was hitting it when I went to press. So that's why we've got to find a solution. And you know, there's always that saying, where there's a will, there's a way. And my husband is more the guru. Oh, I went all the way to the end on this one. Okay, so I'm on my last side now. I got to get my quilt to turn here, and I do have enough. Thank goodness, y'all. I was sweating that. I was scared I did not have enough binding. Wouldn't that be awful? Now, once I get this done, we're still going to have to flip it over and start sewing the next side. I need to see how far I need to stop. Let me put a clip in right here so I give myself enough room. And I'm going to put a back stitch in there so that don't come loose. And cut that thread. Okay, I did not have my iron on, so I've had to cut it on. But I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Okay, the best that I can. You see I have my 2 strips here. Now, I don't have to, since I don't need all of it, I am going to cut it. Now, I'm not cutting it anywhere near where they're going to join up or anything. Because you see, I went on and took my piece and I laid it flat all the way over here to this other piece. See there, I laid it and then I trimmed it past. So what we're going to do, let me get this around the machine and laid flat. And I will do my best to do it where you can see. Okay. I am going to take this piece and let's see if we can find about the center's going to be about right here. About right here. So we're going to take this piece and go right about that center. So what I'm going to do, I am going to pin it just because it's easier to hold it in place when it's moving. And I have to move it to get it to press. So what I'm going to do with this next one, right here's my other one. I'm going to lay it right there at it. And I'm going to fold it back. But I'm not going to do it right at the center. I'm not going to make them butt up to one another. I give about 1/8 of an inch. I have about 1/8 of an inch between the 2 pieces, but I will show you. I'm just going to pin this fabric here so you can see it better. We'll see how, well, I don't know. There's 1/8 of an inch right there between the 2 fabrics. So I do need to press this. But being that my quilt is so big, I'm going to get my pressing cut and press it here. Okay, I don't know if my iron is going to reach this far, but here's my little pressing cut. It is safe to use the pressing cut on your mat. Do not use a wool mat on your cutting mat. It's not safe. It will bubble up. The wool mat holds heat in it, and it will hold heat on your cutting mat. Not a good thing. You see here, I'm just pressing right here. Okay, I made sure to press those to where there's a nice, crisp little line there. So what I will do now, I'm still going to need those pins. Well, friends, my camera died right as I was sewing my binding together. And I've gotten it charged. And you wouldn't know it would do that the one time I get my binding to go right the first time. But then my bobbin died. Ran out. So, yeah. But now what I'm still doing, I waited until I got a good enough charge on it to get me through the rest of my binding here. I'm still attaching the binding to the back. Okay. And I am done now attaching that binding to the back. And yeah, I don't know what is up with this red thread. But my goodness, it strings out there. And I've got a lot of fraying going on right here. I'm just going to go ahead and trim this fraying, and I got to vacuum my floor anyway, so I'm just sliding it down on the floor, kind of trimming my dog ears off. This way I don't have so many threads to deal with. And it may not, I don't think it's all over the quilt, it's just some places I have some threads. But now what I'm going to do is start by rolling it over to the front, which means I will need to flip my quilt. So let me just flip it, and wherever I'm at, we will start right there. I may not need this glove on while I'm doing this because I can't really maneuver with the glove on. I can't really feel it that well either. Now this is going to be a challenge because I have red thread and my border is cream. So I have to be very careful to stay on the red. Very careful. Now I am not clipping anything. And how I stay on this red is I line up my fabric. This is a, let's see, it's a 37D on the Bernina foot. And that's a 1/8 1/4 foot. I line up my fabric on the 1/8. And that is where I sew. Now this thread is just messy. It's almost like my tension is wrong, but I know it's not wrong. I mean, my tension is fine. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's just right there. It looks like that. And what I'm doing is I'm putting my bind right on the stitch line. I probably should do it in a little bit more than the stitch line so it gets caught in that 1/8 of an inch and looks like I'm on the same. But we are now binding the pressed flowers. Even if I wasn't to put this in a quilt show, and this would be, I know a lot of people are going, oh, well, you're putting it in a quilt show, you can't machine bind. This is not a judged quilt show. Or that's what I overheard the other day. It's not judged. It's just a quilt show this year. They're not, I don't think they're doing all the judging and stuff this year. Because it's still new to the area, this show is. And it's going to be November sometime. I don't recall the date. I will have to see. I have so much stuff going on in November. It's my daughter's birthday, and then I start the lives with Tammy at the Siberian Wind doing the Land That I Love, which reminds me I need to get some fabrics. I need to start cutting on some fabrics that I haven't started cutting on. I will be doing pattern testing for Mama J Enterprises. I hope to have the Christmas gnome done. I should be able to have the Christmas gnome done. I know I kind of did a time thing. It's at 12 hours, which I'm not going to do 12 sessions because that's like 3 months. And this needs to be done soon because it's a Christmas pattern. So some of it I may not bring you guys along for. Some of it I will, because I can't show the pattern, and I can show you what it looks like, but there will be no measurements. There will be no discussing measurements or anything like that, you know, because it is going to be a paid for pattern, and I'm just testing it for her. Okay, now I'm checking my corner here. Sometimes I can get this to fold in, and I've mentioned it multiple times. I'm not a good corner miter. I think I do better when I clip, though. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and clip these in. I'm going to have to pull my stiletto out, and I will clip that corner. I put a lot of clips on corners because there's a lot of pressure there on corners, so I put a lot of clips on them. And I just go really slow. Like I always say, it's not a race. Not a race. But being that this will be my first quilt ever to be in a show, even if it's not judged, you know, I'm just really excited to get it done to be in the show. And this is actually one that one of the ladies that work at the quilt shop, she told me I should put this one in the show. And I'm guessing because it does, you know, it does have a design element to it. It does have, you know, flowers on it. And it's not just a patchwork quilt, you know. I love a patchwork quilt, but I know for a quilt show you want something that's got more design to it. I may start working on one for next year. I need to get with my guild ladies, get into a guild, but I'm so busy I don't ever have time to get into a guild. And the nights that they meet, I'm probably recording or something like that. You know, I'm always something to do with sewing or YouTube, or if I'm not sewing, I'm editing. So. But I do think I need to look into a guild. And that way, you know, I'll have some people that have the same interests as me. And this part of binding is never very quick work for me. It always seems to, for some reason, it's wanting to pull away. And not cover that stitch line. Just gonna have to pull it a little further in than where I am to make sure it does cover that. Yeah, I know this wouldn't win any kind of prizes if it is in a scored, because I am machine sewing my binding instead of hand stitching it. Maybe one day I'll hand stitch. I was just looking at my binding against my backing, and they don't really go together. One is more red than one is burgundy. I'm going to be fine with whatever it is. It don't matter to me. Okay, so we are making it around our next corner. I think this is corner number 3. If it is, that's pretty awesome. I know doing the front, or sewing the binding on the back, took an hour. And so far, we're only 24 minutes in on attaching the binding to the front. And after I attach the binding, I will have to go back and do cleanup on it and get all the strings and lint roll it real good, because we want it to be a clean quilt when I take it to the store tomorrow, or the quilt shop. Well, y'all are seeing this Friday evening, and I'm hoping to have taken it this morning that you are seeing this. I know, I'm doing this last minute. I didn't intend on submitting a quilt. Well, I guess since I've only done 2 corners, I got a lot more to go. And y'all, I have got some Halloween quilts, or some fall quilt, you know, pumpkins and things like that, that I have got to get on. I have not gotten them even started, cut out, nothing. And I know I've got to be getting that done, or I won't have anything for Thanksgiving when all my kids come over to eat. I'm hoping it's cold. I'm hoping it's really cold. Maybe not rainy, but cold at least. Okay, now we are at our third. Oh no, we're at our final corner. Yay! So I am almost done. So it looks like it is going to take me right at an hour to do this as well. I know I shouldn't get happy and start saying, oh, this is going fast, because when that happens, when I said that, my bobbin ran out, my thread ran out, then I had to try to find some more thread. That's all included in that hour. And then I didn't have any that was the same kind of finish, and so thank goodness it's just a quilt show and not a judging. And this I'm using Metler thread, and it is making a mess in the bobbin area. But I guess I do need to start practicing with my hand stitching, hand binding and whatever. I know I probably need to do some hand stitching as well. I know when I pull my grandmother's quilts out, which I have them right here in a box just waiting for me to have, a moment to do it, I am going to have to repair it by hand stitching it. Because I know when I was looking at my grandmother's quilts, when I got them, I did notice that a few of them were coming apart, and I will need to do those, fix those up. Okay, well y'all, I finally have my pressed flowers bound. I'm sure I'm going to find a lot of things that I need to fix, threads to trim out. I'm just going around the back of it right now. Oh, that looks really good. I know I sound surprised, don't I? Yeah, I didn't hit that stitch line there. Well, it's where they had sewn around before they did the long arming. I didn't catch that. But guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate each and every one of you taking time out of your busy day just to come and stay with me. I hope you've enjoyed. Now you have seen another completely finished quilt. I do hope to be able to do a trunk show at the end of the year, showing everything I did in 2024. So if you have not yet, please give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I do try to respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you again, I hope you have a very blessed day. Goodbye.